What's up, everybody? Time for some rolling commentary. Today I'm joined by Parker Shaw, aka Big Red. He's a 4-stripe white belt that used to train with me. Recently he's moved off island and he came out for a visit. He's a great guy, very funny, hardworking. He's competed lots, he's won some matches, bit of a sandbagger, but always honorable. So I thought it'd be a fun idea to get him on the mats and roll with him a little bit. So the roll starts with a slap and a bump, and as we do that, Parker tries to swat my hand away for an underhook, but I block it right here with a thumb in his bicep. This makes it tough for him to get an underhook on me. So we battle for inside position with our hands in our heads, neither of us getting an underhook, and then I realize I'm out of position, so I circle my head inside right here just like so, because if you can't face me, you can't fight me. I always want to face my opponent. Go for a collar tie, and I feel him coming for the underhook, so I just break out and step back. Reattach on a 2-on-1. Switch to the 2-on-1 elbow for a quick foot sweep, off balancing him and kicking that foot out from under him. So as his hips hit the mat, I dig for an underhook, staying heavy on him, pinning his shoulders and his hips to the mat. He uses his bottom knee to frame up against my hip, and he tries to close a rubber guard on me, but he can't quite connect his heel to his knee as I push his foot out of the way and hip switch over top. Past the guard, I have to clear the knee shield, the shin that's framed across my hip. He starts to push against my leg rather than the closest edge being my shoulders and my head. I place my hand on his knee and I hip switch by, getting my hips past that knee shield so that I can start to work on the pinning process. The pinning process consists of me controlling Parker's hips, shoulders, chest, and back, keeping those against the mat and limiting their mobility. I get an underhook here around his arm and his head, and you'll see my palm opens up here when I notice him framing. My hand goes to the elbow and pops the arm by. Let's look at it again. I wait for him to start to frame off my face. Once he starts to extend that arm, I place my hand near the elbow, I pop that out of the way, and I try to J-shape my ear underneath his shoulder. However, I can't quite get his arm across his face, so I lose the arm triangle. Now, I drive my knee over his hips and I start to try to advance to the mount as I start to separate the connection of his elbow to his hips, creating space for me to start to get my knees and hips connected to his armpit, controlling his shoulder and that upper cross where his shoulders and spine cross. He tries to grab onto my back, but I'm based out, and here I connect my hands around his neck looking for a no-gi baseball bat choke, but he does a good job peeling my elbow away. Let's look at that again. I connect my hands and I start to try to connect my elbows together, crossing the trachea. However, you'll see Parker's hand slips in over top, grabs the inside of my elbow and starts to peel that arm away to safety. However, I grab and catch that arm and I start to immediately connect my hips to his shoulder line. I roll through and I'm able to secure position. Let's look at that one more time. Right as he escapes, I catch the arm and I look to secure my hips positioning against his shoulder line. So right here, I throw the leg over, and as he begins to turtle, I roll through. One more time, I caught the arm. As he sits up, I catch the shoulder line position, and as he turtles, I roll through, posting and coming to that top rear triangle position on him. Now, it's a job of separating his hands from any other part of his body. It's not good enough to just separate his hands from hands. I start working his wrist being the top of the lever of the arm, and I just push it away. When my hips are connected to his shoulders, his defense can determine what my offense will be. So as I separate his hands by controlling the wrist at the top of the lever, he's either going to extend or rotate his arm. The defense to a rotation is to extend the arm, therefore putting it in a position to hyperextend. The defense of a hyperextension is to rotate the arm, put it in a bent position, and it becomes easy to rotate like so. Just push and you get the tap. Parker's an 18-year-old beast and he's always looking for a second round. So we got that Shao Kahn voice incoming. Round 2, fight! So right away we're looking for inside position, but he leaves a little bit of space as he catches this underhook on the far side, and I catch my own underhook. Right there, little bit of space, and I'm in. Changing my head position, and immediately I look to snatch up that near side leg, putting him into a Kosoto hook. I try to drag his hips to the ground, but he doesn't go, so I just make him carry my weight instead until I can jump his foot closer and take him down. Let's look at that again. I jump to pull his far foot closer. I block both of his posts to drive the center of mass down, connecting his hips to the floor. One more time, we're going to watch this again. All takedowns require me to catch 2 posts, wedging them, and push to center of mass over top of that. I look to aim his weight over the center of the 2 posts, like so. Parker manages to put me back into a half guard situation here, but I'm doing a good job of caging the hips. You'll notice Parker trying to pull me down here instead of trying to push me away. I knee cut through, and now I keep pinning. I keep trying to immobilize him. Everything I'm trying to do is to take away his movement. So I pin the shoulders and I pin the hips. Now I sneak my arm under to secure his head and start looking for my Darce choke here. Block the head, I connect my hands, and I start to pull that right arm up through his neck as I squeeze. As I do this, we're going to look at this finish one more time. I prop his head back and secure it with my hand. I push the arm out of the way, and I use my elbow to push his head out of the way, connecting my hand to the bicep. I force the arm in, arm out scenario. I push his head, I connect my bicep, and I creep that hand up. I pull the blade of my wrist against his throat, and I like to imagine a pop can being squished to my shoulder blades to get that tap. Thanks to Parker for the roll, and thank you everybody for watching.